This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Gwilda Wiyaka's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the Science of Magic or endorsed in any manner by Gwilda Wiyaka, Relmar McConnell Media Company, its affiliated networks, stations, or employees. Welcome to the Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, a program dedicated to uncovering the unified nature of reality and humanity's ever-evolving place as truly galactic beings. For more information on the Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit us online at www.thescienceofmagic.net.
Welcome to the Science of Magic, a place where science and magic come together to transform fact into evolving truth. We're proudly coming to you through the ever-expanding X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, and can also be found on our website, thescienceofmagic.net. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. This hour we'll be exploring chaos to harmony. When I was a small child, we were very poor. One day, my father came home with a treasure he'd saved up to purchase for me. It was a cardboard kaleidoscope. I loved the toy and spent hours sitting outside in the sunlight looking into it. I marveled at the amazing repeated patterns formed by the shards of glass and mirrors within. I'd turn the scope, the glass would tumble, destroying the former design and going into chaos before settling into another equally magnificent yet completely unique pattern. Time after time, and with infinite patience, I'd repeat the activity. I'd try to slightly shift the pattern by slowly turning the scope, but inevitably, chaos would precede the next pattern, no matter how gradually I shifted the toy. I remember feeling if there was some universal secret being shown that I couldn't quite grasp, but it was hugely important that I do. While in college and studying the nature of sound, my professor reproduced an experiment first performed by a musician in the 1800s. While the original experiment utilized a plate of sand and a violin bow, my prof used a sound generator and a metal plate of sand. He bombarded the sand with a single note. At first, the sand jumped around on the plate at random, but soon a kaleidoscope repeating pattern formed in the dancing sand. He then changed the note. The sand went into chaos before another distinct but unique pattern formed. When he returned to the original note, the sand re-entered chaos and then reformed the original pattern associated with that particular note. While observing the experiment, goose flesh formed all over my body. Again, I had the knowing something very important beyond the obvious was being demonstrated, but I could not for the life of me figure out what it was. In physics class, I read a quote from Albert Einstein. "Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you can't help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics." Upon reading Einstein's words, I realized I'd seen this phenomenon demonstrated by my childhood toy and in the sand experiment. But I'd also observed a deeper truth. Between realities lies total chaos. As a planet, we've been living under the influence of a set of frequencies produced by our relative positioning in the galaxy. These frequencies, combined with that of our common denominator belief systems, have created our current reality. As we move into the age of Aquarius, the frequencies are shifting, as is our reality. Between realities lies total chaos. We're experiencing chaos in the world around us, in the crumbling of old structures and death of former beliefs. From the political circus to terrorism and environmental crisis, the world seems to have gone mad. Former realities are disintegrating in their constituent parts, leaving confusion and disorientation in their wake. It's hard to stand in this seeming devastation and not destabilize. But remember, no matter how slowly I turned the kaleidoscope, I could not avoid the chaos. Regardless of how much time my professor took in changing notes, disorder prevailed between the tones. This is not New Age philosophy. This is physics. The only way out is through. The key, hold on to nothing. To the degree we're invested in and identified with the old pattern of reality, we will experience chaos and destruction. The tsunami of change is upon us. It cannot be stopped. It's up to each of us to either choose to surf the sweet spot in the wave or be dragged along the ocean floor in the undertow. Cowabunga! Our guest this hour is CHARMIAN Redwood, a near-death experience 35 years ago during which she experienced her divine self. Her purpose now is to assist others to experience their own God presence. Charmian's written 2 books, and after this commercial break, I'll introduce Charmian and her books, and together we'll explore chaos, harmony, and the evolution of humankind. No small order, so don't go away. You're listening to The Science of Magic, thescienceofmagic.net.
This is Kevin Randall. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com.
Gibbs A. Williams, Ph.D., is a practicing psychoanalyst, supervisor, researcher, and author in New York City. Much of his life has been dedicated to understanding nature and the uses of meaningful coincidences or synchronicities. His radical and original non-Jungian, non-mystical, non-magical theory of synchronicities illuminates much of the fog surrounding this challenging and perplexing topic. His ideas and manners are fresh, presented in a style that is both entertaining and highly informative. He is also an expert on crisis intervention specially focused on violence reduction for the police and citizens, mastering anxiety, frustration, and stress without the use of medication, and effectively preventing and treating heroin addiction. Dr. Williams can be contacted at his email address at gwwilliamsny11@aol.com or visit his website at www.drgibbswilliams.com.
Shamanism is recognized as a method to access the quantum level. Mastery of shamanic skills puts spiritual information and healing power into your hands. Path Home Shamanic Art School, a bonded Colorado certified occupational school, has met rigorous state standards ensuring its director and instructors have the qualifications to teach the shamanic arts. Path Home offers its certification program in blocks of study. Block 1, a 5-day intensive, will be held in the beautiful mountain town of Coaldale, Colorado, October 13th through 18th. Registration deadline is September 12th. Experience journey trance, power animals, helping spirits, sacred space, and life purpose. Come discover your power. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, in the magical world of shamanism. Call 303-775-3431 or visit findyourpathhome.com. Welcome back. This is the Science of Magic, dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. Our guest this hour is CHARMIAN Redwood, author of Coming Home to Lemuria and A New Age Rising. Her website, cominghometolumeria.com. CHARMIAN, thank you for joining us on the Science of Magic.
Thank you very much. And actually, my book is A New Earth Rising.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's about the transformation of the Earth from the old Earth into the new Earth.
Perfect. That's what I have down here. I don't know why I misspoke.
No, that's all right.
I understand you wrote these books from hypnosis. What's that like?
Yes. Well, it's very interesting because you know that everything that we have ever experienced is actually in the same timeline. It's just a different place. But we have access to both our past, our present, and our future simply by altering the brain waves and going there. So what I found, I've been doing this for 30 years, is that pretty much we can go all the way back to the beginning of when we first came to the Earth, which is how the information for the first book, Coming Home to Lemuria, that's how I got that information. And then I discovered that I could also go forward to the time when the Earth has been healed, after the Ascension, when we come out of all this apparent craziness and chaos, and the Earth is returned to the garden and to the golden age of peace, which is what we are creating right now. It just doesn't look like that if you look at it from the surface.
Okay, I understand. I'm having a little difficulty hearing you ask you to speak up a little. And the question I have is, how can you be sure the information you get under hypnosis is correct?
It's not that it's correct is not quite the right word. It is just the meaning and the importance of what you receive. So for both of the books, I took 20 people backwards and forwards, and everybody got exactly the same information, and I didn't tell any of the people what anybody else had received, and they all just got exactly the same messages and information about the beginning and the end. So all I can say is I'm offering the books, I'm offering the information. I'm not saying this is absolute truth. This is just what a whole lot of people all agreed is the same. They got the same memories. They had the same, exactly the same information as one another.
Oh, so this was collaborated, not just one person under hypnosis, but multiple?
Oh, no. It was many people. When I first went to live in Hawaii, which was 2006, that's when I realized I was coming home, and I didn't know what I was coming home to. I just knew I was going home. And it turned out that I was going home to Lemuria, and everybody I met there was my family who I had been with in Lemuria. So as soon as I started doing my hypnotherapy work, everybody that came to me was getting the information about Lemuria. So that's how I wrote the book. I put together the information from 20 different people.
Was it the same 20 people you worked with?
No, actually, because I did that book when I lived on the Big Island, and then I did the second book when I lived on Maui. And also there were certain people that I'd met in my life who I knew I had the Lemuria connection with, and so I specifically asked if they would do sessions with me. So it just depends. Some of them were the same people, and also some of it was my information because I did sessions too, and then other people were just people that I knew that I'd met.
Got it. So were you the hypnotist in the cases?
Yes, I am the hypnotherapist, yes. So that's what I do. I take people into extraordinary reality, not just going to the past and the future, but mainly going to the higher realms, the higher dimensions, where we all have simultaneous existences as these amazingly powerful beings of light, that just a little part of our own divine essence or soul or God presence, whatever you want to call it, a very small part of it is actually living in the body at any one time. And so when we do hypnosis, we can access all of the being that we are. And that is unbelievably empowering for people, when they realize that they're not limited by this physical body, this small brain, this mental faculties that we have, but we can actually access our own multi-dimensional superconsciousness at any time, then it really changes your life and how you go about things.
Yeah,
So that's why I do it.
Puts things in perspective. Where'd you train in
Yes,
hypnotherapy?
Well, actually, I didn't. I did eventually. After about 15 years, I found a hypnotherapy training that fitted what I was already doing, and it was called transpersonal hypnotherapy. But basically, when I had the near-death experience, and I came back from experiencing myself as the whole of my beingness, then I found first that I could spontaneously do healing on people through laying on hands. And then I just asked for a way to take people to have the experience that I had, but without having to die, because mine was a bit dramatic, having a near-death experience, and I don't recommend that route. I recommend people come see me, and I'll take them to the same place without all the drama. So I just asked for a way to take people to experience themselves as pure soul, and this just evolved. While I was doing healing on people, I started talking to them, and then I started just doing meditation groups, and this information just came through, and I just started doing it.
So you started working on other people simply based on your experience of a near-death experience, but you didn't have any training at that point?
No, not at all. I was just a healer. I did laying on hands, and that was about it, really, and a massage therapist. Yeah, I just started doing it.
So did you write these books before or after you studied hypnotherapy?
After. I got my certificate, I think, in 2001, and I wrote the books in 2011, something like that.
Okay, gotcha. So do you?
So I'd already been doing it for a long time and
Right.
worked with many thousands of people.
Do you think that the information that you get is literal, allegorical, or a combination of the two? And how can you tell the difference?
You know, I feel that the information about Lemuria is very accurate, and people are pulling it from their memories. And I think that the future, there are several possibilities. There are several possible timelines, and everybody on the earth is not necessarily going to be experiencing the same one. And that's what the separation is about. Many people in the journeys, when I took them forward, talked about the earth splitting. and the old earth moving away, and the earth that we are in now shifting into a completely different frequency. And this is why I want people to know about this, because it is really important for every person on this earth to make their choice right now. Are they moving forward with the ascended earth, which is moving into love, into harmony and peace? This is the golden age of peace that it talks about in not just the Bible, but many of the ancient prophecies. And or are they going to carry on doing what we're doing right now, which is abusing power? And this will not be tolerated on the earth as it is now for very much longer. So you either choose to move forward into immortality and into the new frequencies of the ascended earth, or you will be leaving the body and not coming back to this earth. You will be if you want to carry on experiencing third dimensional frequency, it won't be on the earth, because the earth has actually already shifted. She already made the shift on December 21st, 2012. The only question is now, she already shifted. How many of us are going to shift with her and remain upon the earth? That is why it's so critical at this time to make that choice to move forward into love, into light, back to the heart, and away from ego and the abuse of power.
So am I hearing you say that either we're going to play the game or we're going to get the big flush?
What will happen is that the people who shift with the earth will be vibrating at such a high frequency that they won't be aging or dying anymore. This is all in the book, The New Earth Rising. They will become immortals and have a eternal life presence here on the earth for as long as they choose to stay here. People who do not make that choice will be dying, but not necessarily from cataclysm, but just because this planet will no longer be available for third dimension, which is warfare and hatred and the abuse of power. So they will die in the normal way, either through disease or fighting or however they choose to do it, but then they won't be coming back to the earth. They'll be going somewhere else.
So that's kind of like the earth not supporting a particular frequency anymore and cycling out what's left of that frequency here through a lifetime?
Yes, so we have like a certain period of time to make this choice, and the door is open. It's not a question of some people are
we're going to have to pick up with this combo, which is very inspiring, on the other side of a break. We will return to our discussion after this short break. We're coming to you through the land of leading-edge paranormal broadcasting, the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Don't miss the other fine shows and hosts on xzbn.net. You're listening to The Science of Magic, thescienceofmagic.net. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka. We will be back, so don't you go away.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
While science pursues fact, magic accesses the quantum level, bridging random facts to form truth. As long as science and magic remain separate and polarized, the truth cannot be known. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka. Join me on the Science of Magic radio program, dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. During each episode, I'll be speaking with experienced and respected scientists and mystics. From astrologers to astronomers, from medical doctors to shaman, the scientific method to dowsing and intuition, we'll weave together information from seemingly divergent practices to promote unity and enlightenment. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic right here on the Mutual Broadcast Network. For more information, visit www.thescienceofmagic.net.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Welcome back. This is the Science of Magic, a place where magic and science come together to promote enlightenment. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. Our guest this hour is CHARMIAN REDWOOD, author of Home To Lemuria and A New Earth Rising. We were just talking about how the frequency on the planet is undergoing a change ever since 12/21/12. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. And what it means that everybody has to make the choice whether to move with the planet into a higher frequency, which is pure love, into the heart, back to the heart, or people who want to carry on doing what we've been doing for a very long time, which is war and conflict and chaos, they can carry on doing that for a certain length of time. But after a certain window, then this frequency will not be on the planet any longer. So those people will leave their bodies through the death process, as people normally do now, but then they won't be coming back. And what I wanted to say is that it's not that we are chosen, it's that we do the choosing. So the door is open, everybody is invited, and it is just up to each individual to say, yes, I want to move forward with the earth. I want to go into the ascension process. Once you make the choice, then all of your divine directors and your angels and your guides will connect you with the people and the situations that you need in order to make that preparation for the ascension.
So the way we do, that was my next question. So how do we make this choice, and how do we learn to live with love in our hearts and all that fun stuff? So you're saying that it's just a matter of setting your intent to do so?
Yes. First of all, you just say, this is what I want to do. And then you can ask your master guides to help you to do that. And what it means is, firstly, just being love in every single situation that you meet in your day, whether it's at the gas station or the checkout at the supermarket, just making everybody that you come into contact with feel blessed by your presence, feel that they are important, and to acknowledge them. Now, the other aspect of this, and this is something that I do a lot in my hypnotherapy, is that we are all carrying a lot of negative programming and negative self-beliefs that we have collected through our experience of persecution and suffering for thousands of years. This has not been a fun time on the earth. So we're all carrying that wounding that says, no, I can't, and I'm afraid, or there isn't enough, or I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve. Now, those emotions are all very low frequencies, and they are what prevents us from accessing the higher dimensions. So we have to clear those out of the body so that we can just live in pure consciousness of unconditional love. So one of the main ways that we can do that is by using the process of what the Hawaiians call ho'oponopono, which is just forgiveness. Just forgive everybody, anything that ever has been done to you, and then move on. And then start working on your self-belief, working with your inner child, just generally comforting, not judging, but just understand that your body has this cellular memory. Your inner child was probably extremely traumatized in your childhood. So you just be kind, you be gentle with yourself. When the fears come up, you just say, no, you're okay, you're safe, I'm looking after you now, I'm protecting you now, so you don't need to have that fear. So it's not like a naughty child that why should I feel like that, or I shouldn't be feeling this, or I shouldn't be thinking that. Just be really gentle with yourself and just speak to your inner child as if she or he was just a very frightened child that needs some reassurance, and then give the child that reassurance.
Got it. So you speak of the God presence. What is it to experience one God presence?
It's very hard to put into words, but I'll tell you how I experienced it. When I was very sick, I had just given birth to twins. I had extreme blood a tear that wasn't seen. I was bleeding inside. They didn't know I was losing all this blood. It went infected, and that is how I had the experience. So I felt myself leave my body. I'm looking down at the body in the bed, and I was very surprised because all of my consciousness was out with me. None of it was in the body. So then I realized that that was just the house that I'm living in. So then I floated away, and I just went into this golden light, and I experienced just myself as the golden light. And as soon as I got into it, I just knew that everything I could ever want was in the light. It was where I was born, where I came from, where I belong, where I want to be, and it's real. This is the real world, is the light. And everything that body is doing down there, which is just a really small part of me, is just a story that I'm making up for this lifetime as I go along. But the real me is in the golden light, and it's completely connected to every living thing. I got it very, very clearly that all of life is created from the same substance. It has consciousness, whether it chooses to manifest as a tree or a cloud or a rock. It has consciousness, and we are all the same family. We all belong to the same family. That's why it's so important to take care of the earth and our environment, because all of these are alive. The rocks are alive, and the clouds are alive.
Right. So in your bio, it mentions that you help others to embrace their God presence. How do you do that?
Well, this is what I use the hypnosis for. First, I take people to have a conversation with their own divine essence. Now, there are many levels of the divine self that between the physical body and the essence. There's the higher self, which is closer to the earth presence. There's the soul, there's the I am presence, there's levels of it. So I take people to actually experience themselves as the divine presence, and then from that place talk to their ego personality self. And it's always very clear that this is not me as I am here that is talking. You can feel that this is a completely conscious, immortal, wise being. It's like a counselor. It's like listening to some elder or some wise being, but you're talking to yourself. Now, that part of you knows everything about you, knows why you're here, where you came from, how your life is to progress so that you can bring all of your divine essence here to the earth, and what that's going to look like, it's really like a roadmap of who am I, where did I came from, why am I here, and how am I going to do it. And then we remove the blocks. We ask to see what blocks are preventing us from being that divine essence, which is usually past life or childhood. In fact, pretty much with everybody, it's both.
Got it. So it seems like experiencing one's God presence, it sounds like it might take a fair amount of personal processing and reframing of reality. So how do you support your people through this process?
No, it doesn't actually. It's very quick. We do one session, an hour and a half, and people, it's like being lifted up to a higher place and looking down, and you just get very, very rapid shift of perspective, really. So then when they come back, after the session, we talk about what they've experienced and how this might change their lives and how this might show up in their lives. And then usually over a period of 3 or 4 months, people's lives do dramatically change. They get better jobs, they get jobs that they are more respected and acknowledged and they're happy in. Their relationships often change because they might have been in abusive relationships that were karmic, so they change out of that. So we continue doing sessions as long as they need to. And then I also offer retreats at my home that people can come and work with me for 3 days if they want to.
So how do you get at the DNA, if you will? You know, if we're carrying this damage and programming for several lifetimes, how do you get at reprogramming on the cellular level?
Oh, that's exactly what we do. During the session, we ask for the DNA to be activated that will allow us to embody all of our divine essence. Because from what I've understood from many years of doing this work, is that what the Ascension actually is bringing all of our divine essence into the physical body. The way we've been doing it before, because our DNA has been operating at such a low frequency, is that we only were able to bring about 30% of our soul into the physical body. But now, because of this accelerated frequency shift that we are already experiencing, our physical bodies are being reconstructed, shifting from a carbon to a silicone base, which is more crystalline. It can hold more light. So what I understand Ascension to be is that we bring in 100% of our divine essence into this physical form. So then we will have powers which at the moment we would think of as super consciousness or Superman, and we will all be doing that. What the yogis and the high lamas and what Jesus was able to do,
we're going to have to
be doing that.
We're going to have to take another break. Okay. Charmin and I will be back shortly. You're listening to The Science of Magic, thescienceofmagic.net, the place where altruistic professionals of science and the esoteric create common ground for the betterment of our world. We're brought to you by the leader in paranormal, spirituality, and alternative health programming, the X Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net. A lot of great shows to be found there, so don't miss out. We'll be back.
As host of Dialogue with Divinity, I am thrilled to join the X Zone Broadcast Network and their growing number of affiliates. My quest for a connection to the divine ignited my successful career path as an international spiritual counselor for over 40 years, an author of 4 books, and well-known metaphysical educator. My clients call me their spiritual mama. So my job is to offer you a radio show to help you grow spiritually with wisdom and get specific tools from guests who are experts in their field. Tune in to Dialogue with Divinity and be part of the conversation with Spirit. My goal, your happy soul. For more information, please visit my website at johannacarroll.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Coming soon to the X-Zone Broadcast Network is A Different Perspective with me, Kevin Randall, as your host. We'll be taking a close look at what is happening in the world of UFOs today with side trips into the paranormal. Guests will range from those who are household names to those who have a different perspective on a variety of topics. No topic will be taboo, but there will be tough questions asked as we all search for the truth about UFOs, the paranormal, and those things that excite us. Sometimes we'll agree with a guest and sometimes we won't, but we'll try to keep the program topical. For those of you who like to read, be sure to visit www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com and remember to listen to the other fine programs on the X-Zone Broadcast Network at www.xzbn.net. This is Kevin Randall. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com.
What Happened in Benghazi is revealed by Nicholas Genix, author of Obama, Islam, and Benghazi. He informs the American people that President Obama deceived them by advocating a strong foreign policy prior to the 2012 presidential election, and Hillary Clinton supported this deception. As the title infers, there is a connection between Obama, Islam, and Benghazi. Ample evidence informs Americans that Obama's early indoctrination in the Quran developed an affinity for Islam, why the Quran is the source of discontent in many countries, and why the Obama foreign policy deception led to poor military action and caused the loss of American lives in Benghazi. Genix provides 36 questions for the Select Committee on Benghazi to validate if Americans are justified to mistrust President Obama and Hillary Clinton. An overview of Obama, Islam, and Benghazi is presented on the website www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Afterlife expert Roberta Grimes was the first one to say that dying can be fun. Now her best-selling book, The Fun of Dying, is available in stores worldwide. So if you wonder whether death ends life, how it feels to die, or what heaven might be like, The Fun of Dying was written for you. And if you have always been afraid of death, or if you worry that your life has no meaning, let The Fun of Dying ease your fears and bring new meaning to your life. Nothing said in The Fun of Dying is based on the teachings of any religion. Instead, Roberta draws on evidence to explain how death happens, how it feels, and what comes next. A lot of the best death-related evidence was produced in the first half of the 20th century. When it is put together with recent discoveries, it tells a consistent and amazing story. Roberta Grimes blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Her wonderful book, The Fun of Dying, is available on Amazon and at stores worldwide wherever books are sold.
Welcome back. This is The Science of Magic, bringing together gifted people of service to the world. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. Our guest this hour is CHARMIAN REDWOOD, author of Coming Home to Lemuria and New Earth Rising. CHARMIAN, I've heard something similar to what you've been saying the last hour, echoed in a lot of different writings, a lot of different prophecies, where it speaks of the time when we actually live off of light in a different way. Do you feel that the increased frequency that we're being exposed to, which of course is increased light, is activating our DNA, so to speak?
Oh, absolutely, yes. The frequency of the Earth is shifting, so it's pushing up all of those dense energies, the old energies, is pushing them up because they just don't fit in our bodies anymore. So our bodies are literally morphing, and the energy of the planet, the frequency of the planet, which is measurably rising, is what is creating that. Yes, it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the divine plan. And this really is the most important lifetime that we have ever had on this earth. It's the completion of all of our lifetimes of sacrificing, of suffering, of coming back, holding the light. We all came back through the dark ages to keep the flame alive. So all of the service that we've done, this is like the reward.
So, Charmaine, how important is it to let go of the past in order to be able to embrace this new way of being?
The most important thing right now is to just shift into the light. This is the completion of all of our lifetimes. Everything that happened to us on that journey was just things that we came to the Earth School to learn. It was all a learning experience. So now that experience is coming to completion, and we are going to lift this planet into the light, and we are going to lift with her. So the way I like to explain it is it's like there's a production, a theater, there's a stage, there's a play. Everybody's gone to the after party to celebrate. But there's still some people saying, but I've still got some drama, and I still want to play out some act that I started 40 years ago. Well, let them, but don't hang out there, because actually we've already done the hard work. The only thing now is to surf these new energies that are just lifting us into love and light. And this is what really I learned from my near-death experience. I actually met Jesus, which was a bit of a surprise because I wasn't a Christian. And I just experienced being completely and unconditionally loved for who I was. No judgment, no punishment, nothing. And as soon as I felt that love that I was enfolded in and realized that I already have that because of who I am. He was just loving me because of who I am, not because of what I'd done or what I was doing. So I really want to say to people is that the only thing that you take with you when you leave this body is the love that you have shared. And the only thing you leave behind is your name written in the hearts of those you have loved. And that's not just people, but it's the earth, it's Gaia, and it's the animals and the birds. So don't waste any time at all dwelling in the past. Just let it all go. Forgive everybody, everything, and just say, I'm here now to celebrate the birth of the new earth.
Beautifully stated. Before we get too far into this last segment, would you tell people where they can find your books and services?
Yes, my books are on Amazon, and my sessions that I do are all on my website, which is comingHomeToLemuria.com, and it's all one word. And all of the different, I do channeling, I do readings, I do hypnotherapy, all kinds of things.
Fantastic. So this shift that we're in, do you think it's happened before?
Not this way. No, we have had other golden ages, but normally the age that we're in now, the Hindu people, in the Vedic path, they call it the age of iron, when the people suffer. And then the next stage is the age of gold. So we go from iron, which is the lowest, to gold, which is the highest. Normally, we would die, leave our bodies, and then a very few people would reincarnate in the higher frequencies. This is the only lifetime that I'm aware of where we have made this mass ascension with the physical body. So we will actually be mutating into a whole new human race, and this is very exciting.
Yeah, I've heard that again stated by different traditions that the brain and the way it works is going to totally be shifted as well. Is that correct?
Yes, because we had our DNA cut down to 2 strands, and now it's going back to the original 22. And the 20 that we're getting back give us the skills, the abilities that we would call super consciousness. We'll be able to travel anywhere that we want to. We won't need to eat because we'll just be living on light and prana. And this is what my second book, The New Earth Rising, it's all in there. We won't be aging and dying. We'll just be living in community and in service, just in love and devotion to serving one another and serving the planet, which is how it was at the beginning of Lemuria. So we've actually come full circle back to where we started from.
So do you believe where we're going is like what it was in Lemuria? And do you think Lemuria was a physical place here or a state of being?
It began with a state of being. In the beginning, we were in our light bodies, and then we gradually stepped down our frequency until we became dense human bodies. And we chose to go through that process called the fall, where we disconnected from our golden light. We shut down our DNA strands, and we chose to experience separation as a way for our soul to grow evolution in an evolutionary way. It was the hardest challenge that we could think of to help us to grow as a soul. So that's why we chose it. Yeah, so at the end of Lemuria, we were definitely in physical bodies, and Hawaii was part of that. That's why I was taken back to Hawaii, because all the memories are there in the land, in the water, and with the dolphins and the whales.
How do they play in here? That's always fascinated me.
Yes, it's amazing. I'll be taking a retreat to Hawaii in May to swim with them. What I saw was that we all came together to the earth in the beginning, dolphins, whales, and people. And the agreement was that we were all going to fall asleep, disconnect from our golden essence, and forget who we were. But the dolphins and the whales were going to remember not just who they are, but also who we are. So they hold our DNA codes. And through the sound, and through especially swimming with them, but just hearing the sound will activate your DNA. So that's how I received all of my activations in Hawaii, was through swimming with dolphins and with whales and hearing their sound under the water.
It's absolutely uncanny, isn't it? I know I had a early experience in the Persian Gulf as a child with a dolphin coming up to nudge me back to shore because a shamal was coming in. And it left me forever changed. It just left me forever changed.
Oh, my goodness. I'm getting chills. It's just they are pure conscious beings. And in Hawaii, I would swim with the spinners, and they would come and swim a foot away from you, look right into your eye, and they choose to come to you. There's no way you can catch a dolphin if it doesn't want to play with you. And they would just circle, and you circle with them, and they keep this eye contact. And then when they're done, they take off. So the last time that happened to me, I asked the dolphin, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm spinning up your DNA codes so that I could bring the oneness of Hawaii back to the mainland," because I'd already been told that I needed to bring the frequency from there back to the mainland of America. So he was spinning up my DNA so that I could then share that through my activations with people that I work with.
That's
and that
phenomenal.
That was the last time I saw them. Yeah.
So, Charmian, thank you so much for being with us and sharing all this information. And one more time, your website is cominghometolomuria.com, correct?
That's right, yeah.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful day, and may the dolphins bless you again.
Well, thank you, and very many blessings to you, too. Thank you so much.
This has been The Science of Magic. Our guest has been Charmian Redwood, author of Coming Home to Lemuria and A New Earth Rising. Remember, you can always listen to past thought-provoking episodes on our website, thescienceofmagic.net. Don't forget to join us on the next episode of The Science of Magic. Until next time, dear ones, may you be blessed with knowledge and comforted with love as you embrace your inner harmony.